So I get countless questions about why my dismissive avoidant ex is checking me out on social media. And I get these questions in all different shapes and forms. And I wanted to just make a video for anybody who's having that experience about why this might be happening. And we're going to cover 5 key reasons that dismissive avoidance might do this. So, the first reason that's most common and most prevalent is dismissive avoidants are constantly operating in their feelings minus their fears. So, they have a lot of fears about relationships that are subconsciously stored, a lot of fears about commitment, vulnerability. They're scared of being trapped or helpless. They're scared of being vulnerable and then feeling weak or feeling like they are too sensitive or feeling shamed or criticized for their feelings. Not necessarily because their partners are like that by any means, but because of their subconsciously stored experiences from past events, most often occurring in childhood. And so they have this constant feelings minus fears thing happening. And when they are with somebody, they have those fears activated. They're being pushed on all the time because there's this constant request or requirement to be in a committed relationship, to be vulnerable, right? To be open, to work through conflict or potential challenges, to have conversations. All of those things can set off those fear responses. But when there's a breakup, initially DAs may suppress their feelings associated or connected to the pain from a breakup. But over time, those feelings stop getting suppressed and they start feeling their romantic feelings because those fears are not being activated. So the feelings minus fears, it's like the feelings loses its competitor, right? It loses the fears part because there's nothing to constantly trigger or press on those fears. And so oftentimes we'll see dismissive avoidance are kind of like coming back in indirectly because dismissive avoidance, they tend to want to like make themselves known without ever having to make the first move because they have a difficult time communicating. It's hard for them. And this is not me saying that, hey, that means you should get back together with them immediately. In fact, to take that a step further, sometimes dismissive avoidance will seem like they are interested in getting back together, but then as soon as there's a reconnection, they might go right back into their fears again. So I'm just answering the question of why this often happens. I'm definitely not saying go back into the relationship. What you should be looking for if you're going to go back into the relationship is like both parties being able to take ownership, accountability, open up more, talk about what wasn't working, initiate plans. Like you should see a few really important prerequisites that I have covered on other videos on this channel. So the feelings minus fears is huge. The second thing is they may miss you, but they are unwilling to reach out and initiate. So they may be checking your social media literally to communicate. Like a lot of dismissive avoidants I've spoken to over the years have said things to me like, oh, but I was communicating that I was interested in reconnecting by checking their social media. And I know that they could see that I checked their social media, like liked a picture or commented on something. Um, and the funny thing is, to a dismissive avoidant, that is a form of communication because they tend to communicate more through their actions and through their words. But to somebody on the receiving end, it can be really ambiguous and confusing. So that can definitely be a piece of the puzzle. And they may be missing you and not wanting to get back together again, right? They may be missing you and trying to kind of initiate a friendship indirectly as well. So that can definitely be a big piece of it. Number 3, they might want to have some kind of form of connection, right? They might be trying to move the needle on something, see what is still there. They might be confused about their own internal feelings, essentially, is really what that number 3 boils down to. And so, you might see them in a situation where they're, in that position, but they aren't willing to like outwardly say, hey, I miss you. I'm trying to see where I'm at. I'm trying to see where you are. Like when they're confused, they might do these sort of indirect forms of connecting without it. Everything is to bypass vulnerability. That's really what it is at the end of the day. It's all to get some kind of need met without having to pass through the core wounds. The core wounds being fear of being criticized or shameful, fear of being weak, fear of opening up and then feeling neglected in some form, or shamed. And so it's like all of these strategies they use to try to like connect without having to like really connect and really do that kind of heavy lifting. Number 4, they may also be in a position where they're looking at your social media because they're trying to see if it will trigger you to reach out to them. And I don't mean trigger like cause a trigger, like, it triggers you. I mean, like prompts you. Like they're trying to see if it will prompt you to reach out back. It's like, okay, I'm going to reach out a little by taking that first half step, even though it's not really translating into anything, but then I'm top of mind for you. And that might cause you to reach out back to me. And so there is this like, in whatever form so far in these first four that we have, right? Um, in whatever form it is, it's like they're trying to rebuild a bridge in some way or another, friendship way, romantic potential. Like they're curious about how you're feeling. They're curious about their own feelings. Their feelings might be there. Again, it doesn't mean though that when you do reconnect that it won't re-trigger that fear-based response unless they're kind of doing that inner work or are consciously aware of it and willing to overcome it. There's a whole course I have actually about this. Um, it's called How to Repair Any Relationship. And the idea is that like you're repairing any relationship because you either have all the tools from the course, you can check it out for free using the link below too. You either have all the tools from the course to fix a relationship, or you have the tools from the course to realize that, oh, the person's not going to meet me halfway. They're not going to do that work too. So my version of repairing the relationship is to have a type of relationship that works for me given the circumstances that we're in. And it helps you really define those circumstances so that the output is like a win for you no matter what, but according to the reality of the circumstances. So it really helps you like peg where the relationship should be or will be. And then also use the tools to like really move the needle if somebody's willing to work with you. So anyways, you can check that out for free using the link below, but it's just important to keep that in mind when you're thinking of this reconnection idea. And like, why are they looking at my social media? And last but not least, dismissive avoidants may reach out because they're trying to subconsciously get their needs met for comfort and safety. And again, it will be a form of missing you, but DAs tend to miss like the comfort and safety of a partner specifically after the relationship has gone on for some time. If it's really early days, they may not have derived a lot of comfort and safety from somebody just yet, but as time goes on, they get a lot of needs met from that comfort and safety of that connection. And they may go to quite great lengths to kind of like maintain that in some form, and they really might hurt over missing that and feeling that that's pulled apart. And so again, it's this like attempt subconsciously to get closer to the need by getting closer to the person, even if it's as indirect of a way as through looking at your social media. So these tend to be 5 reasons. I hope this really clarifies a lot of questions I get and makes things a little clearer for you. Let me know other questions you have in the comments below. If you have somebody who's reaching out to you on social media or looking at your social media, if they're your ex, a situationship, what's going on, let me know. I can definitely make future videos about it. And thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe to this channel if you're enjoying this video or enjoy this content as a whole. And I will see you in future videos.